Welcome to 6-Space VMS&T Initiation Exposure Steps. Today we are focusing upon organization change steps. Sadhkas, students, teachers and scholars are welcome. They are welcome to have proper focus upon the organization change steps of 6-Space VMS&T. We have yesterday been initiated and exposed as that ancient wisdom textbook is Vishnu Puran, and this wisdom is about the 6-space as existence phenomenon format of our solar universe. These chase steps initially are being enumerated and tabulated as 12 steps. First step is to have a focus upon 6-space. This space, when is approached in terms of a dimensional frame of 6 dimensions, with 4-space playing the role of dimension for this 6-space. So 6-space with 4-space as dimension as a frame, when is put upon this space, it makes a 6-space. We can formally define 6-space is the space within a dimensional frame of 6 dimensions, with each dimension being a 4-space. 4-space in the role of a dimension, and there is a set of 6 dimensions. These 6 dimensions as dimensional frame, when superimposed upon this space, then it makes a 6-space. The second chase step is hypercube 6. 6-space, as we see, is the space which is within a dimensional frame of 6 dimensions. As such, our space content, dravya, which gets conditioned in terms of a 6-dimensional frame, it becomes a 6-space content. From 6-space to 6-space content, and this content manifests as a domain fold, as a body, as a hypercube 6, as a representative regular body of a 6-space. The next step, third step, is Surya, sun. Our sun is a body of a 6-space. It is a 6-space phenomenon. It is 6-space content phenomenon. This 6-space content phenomenon of the format of hypercube 6 as such is making our solar universe. Our solar universe as a universe of a 6-space body of hypercube 6 format, manifesting 6-space content. So this is going to be the third step. Fourth chase step is that Surya Ank, the number of 6, is number 6. It is 6 number value whose chase and exposure is going to be the sixth, is going to be the fourth chase step. The fifth chase step is number value 8, 28. 6 is the first perfect number and 28 is the second perfect number. This second perfect number is the TCB value of Brahm. Therefore, Brahm to Surya or Surya to Brahm, it is this chase, it is this transition and transformation, it is this reach of the 6-space VMS&T which is going to be the fifth step. These 5 steps as such will be taking us to a soul sellable Om. Soul sellable Om is manifesting 6-fold as Om tasya vachka parana, Om iti ek akshar Brahm, Omkar Vadyam, Udgit, Vashatkara. Therefore, Paranava Sarvadeshu, from Om, sellable Om, to Paranava Sarvadeshu, Tasya Vachka Paranava, And further, these six manifestations are going to be the sixth chase step of the six-phase VMS&T. The next seventh step is a Divya Ganga Pravaha. This soul syllable with Bindu Sarovar as its first component and Ardhamatra as its second component, Tripundaram as its third component, Swastik Pada as fourth component, and the Pushpika as the fifth Pada, and the transcendental origin of the Pushpika as the sixth component. These six steps or the format when Bindu Sarovar is superimposed, placed at the origin of Surya, sun, at the origin of sixth space, then there is a churning. This becomes a Vishnu Lok. So when Bindu Sarovar is at the origin of sun, when it is the origin of sixth space, when it is the origin fold of hypercube 6, then it makes a Vishnu Lok. We know that sixth space is having four space in the role of a dimension. This four space means when there happens a churning at the origin, then by this churning there happens a seven streams flow. It is this seven streams flow from the Bindu Sarovar which has a split as three streams flow towards the east, three streams flow towards the west, and the central fourth stream transcends ahead and reaches the Pushpika, and ultimately its reach is at the transcendental origin. This reach from Bindu Sarovar to Saptadhara, seven streams, and then a split, three streams and a central focus going towards northern hemisphere and then the southern hemisphere. This split, and in both there being a flow, and it is this total flow which is a Divya Ganga flow in the northern hemisphere and in the southern hemisphere. This flow in the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere as such is a Divya Ganga Pravaha, and the complete phenomenon is the Jyoti manifestation. It is a manifestation phenomenon of the Vishnu Lok of sixth space. That means at the orb of the sun, what is happening at the orb of the sun is a Jyoti manifestation. It is this phenomenon happening at the orb of the sun, and we know seventh space is playing the role of an origin. We know seventh space is a seat of a pole star, Dhruv. So this pole star is the reach of this Jyoti manifestation. So this entire phenomenon of Jyoti manifestation at orb of the sun, at center of hypercube 6, is the phenomenon at the origin of sixth space. So it is the phenomenon of a pole star, the origin of our solar universe. Ahead is a Sthapatyamay ring rod. So this Divya Ganga Pravaha, which is of a 7 steps, is ultimately going to be of a first interval, then square. So it is a representative regular body of one space, then a representative regular body of a 2 space. Step ahead is a representative regular body of a 3 space, and then step ahead is the representative regular body of a 4 space. Lord Brahma is the overlord of the creator's space. This 4 space is designated as creator's space. This creator's space is presided by Lord Brahma, a 4-head lord. There are 4 heads. Each head is equipped with a pair of eyes, and Lord Brahma sits upon a lotus seat of 8 petals. Within the cavity of heart of Lord Brahma is the seat of a transcendental Lord, Lord Shiv. Lord Brahma meditates within cavity of his own heart, and with the grace of transcendental Lord, Lord Brahma multiplies tenfolds. Therefore, this Jyoti manifestation, when reaches within the Pushpika, then it amounts to a transition and transformation of a creative boundary of 10 components of a transcendental domain. It is called a Sanatana base. So this reach from 3 space to 4 space takes us ahead to a 5 space. Now 5 space is a space within which there is a domain boundary ratio as a raised to power 5 is to 10 b raised to power 4. Sadhakas have to follow the enlightenment path of Lord Brahma to meditate within cavity of one's own heart and to have the transcendental grace, and with it there would be a creative boundary for a transcendental domain. This would be 5 space, which will be taking us ahead even to the origin of a 5 space, that is 6 space. It is here where there is going to be the ultimate reach. It is this reach which initially started with the 6 space and has ultimate reach again at a 6 space. It is called a chakra, it is called a circuit, it is called, then it is this Shad chakras format 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, or the domains then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12. These are going to be the boundary components. Therefore, these are the Shad chakras. With it, there emerges a Purusha format, and this is the format of human body. So we are existing within a Purusha format. Therefore, our intelligence, our consciousness, and our whole existence phenomenon as such ultimately is going to be a 6 space phenomenon. It is this way that the existence phenomenon within our soul, within our human body, and this existence phenomenon of our solar universe as it is a parallel phenomenon. Yatha pinde tatha brahmande. As in body, so in universe. So as in universe, so in a body. So this Jyoti manifestation phenomenon will take us to this Sthapatya miring rod. It is here where from we have to reach at the phenomenon of a domain supplet. This domain supplet phenomenon, so hypercube 4 space body presided by Lord Brahma meditating within cavity of his own heart. As a result, there happens a creative boundary of 10 components of the transcendental domain. As a result, there happens a Visphot. This Visphot is an explosion. This is explosion which takes us a transition from linear order to a spatial order. This Visphot is also having TCV value 29, which is parallel to the TCV value of a Brahma. As such, within 4 space, when there happens a transcendental grace and there happens a creative boundary of the transcendental domain, then as a result, the transcendental domain, a 5 space domain, which has 3 space in the role of a dimension, happens 3 space in the role of a dimension, and because of a creative boundary of a special domain, therefore this 3 space 3-dimensional frame splits into a pair of 3-dimensional frames, and these pair of 3-dimensional frames as such are of half dimension. However, it is this 3-dimensional frame split into a pair of 3-dimensional frame which takes to a domain split spectrum. Once dimensional frame is split, then parallel to it there is a split for a domain as well. So the cube, if we have a view, have a fresh look at the setup of a cube, it will be visible to us that the cube is a setup which has 8 corner points, and in each of the corner point there is a dimensional frame, a 3-dimensional frame, but of half dimensions. It is this feature, it is this value, it is this format which deserves to be comprehended well to have a proper appreciation of the domain split spectrum. So initially when domain is 1, it becomes of 2 parts. Therefore, initial 1, it reaches a value 2. This value 2, we is seen that this 2 is actually equal to 2 raised to power 1 plus 0. Means initially there was a 0 space, 0 state, then at the 1 state we reached, and from 1 state we are reaching a 2 state, a split phenomenon which is 2 is to 1 plus 0. A step ahead, when it splits, it becomes 2 into 2 plus 1. It is this addition 5. Ahead it becomes 2 into 5 plus 2, 12. Ahead it becomes 2 into 12 plus 5, 25. Therefore, it is this way the domain starts splitting, and it is at the fourth split that value comes to 29, which is equal to the TCV value of a Lord Brahma. As such, we see the domain split phenomenon is the chase step, which is to be chased, and thereafter there is a phenomenon of a dimensional synthesis, transcendental ranges, and Dvadasadittyas. Dvadasadittyas phenomenon is that a raised to power 6 is equal to 12 b raised to power 5. The transcendental boundary is of 12 components. How these 12 components as a transcendental boundary of self-referral domain and six-space domain is ultimately making us and is making available to us and having a creation of a phenomenon that sun transits, transforms, and multiplies as 12 suns. Let us have a pause here and see that Lord Brahma transcends, transits, and transforms into 10 Brahmas. Vishnu, Surya, Sun manifests, happens a transcendence, and as a result thereof there is a reach as 12 suns. This is the phenomenon which also has to be seen. As far as the transcendental ranges are concerned, we will come to it afterwards, but we know that 5 space is having 11 geometries range. Today, therefore, we are having a focus upon this dimensional synthesis phenomenon, the 10th aspect. We are going to have 12 steps chase, to have insight, have enlightenment, to be parallel to, and to have a glimpsing of the features, values, and formats of 6-space VMS&T. These organization chase steps essentially initially are being enlisted as 12, out of which today we are focusing upon the dimensional synthesis. Let us have a pause and let us revisit the phenomenon of how the infinite discretes, means the points, if there are infinite points, then these discrete points as such accept inherently a format of one space. This one space format for Eurospace entities, the points so discretes or getting a base, a format which provides a continuum. It is this phenomenon that the discretes with a base as a continuum phenomenon will make these also. A step ahead, when we are having infinite lines as discrete values, as discrete entities, the same with the base of a surface to space, there will again be a continuum. Here one can have a pause and take note that these are the matchsticks. These matchsticks are placed upon a plate. Now these sticks, these are placed, the way these are placed, in whatever way these have been placed in a plate, then the plate can carry. So with the motion of a plate, or plate will carry these matchsticks without disturbing their placements, their positions, their structures, their inter-sea relationships, and even the points, the discrete points which have been provided a continuum base. Therefore, this infinity of discretes and this another infinity of discretes, unlike that infinite infinities of infinite discretes, as such are in a position to provide a structure, a stability, without any way there being any disturbance of their values, their placements, their inter-C relationship. It is this feature which has helped us reach that if there is a one axis, say of n units or n points, n counts, and when the another axis of n points is brought, then with the common origin, common center, when there is a flow of a one axis and there is a flow of another axis, then this one point will be reserved here for the center and one will be the outermost point. Here also we want the outermost point and here will be one at the center. So this 1 cross 1 is equal to 1 and 0 plus 0 and 0 cross 0 also as being the equals, and this 0 entity being having is accepting a count 1. Like that, we know here there will be a gap and this gap will be having a value n minus 2 points, and so the combined effect will be we had on n provided by the first axis, value n provided by the second axis, and combined we out of it n minus 2 points have been consumed for creating a continuum here. So as a net result there remain only n plus 2. When a third step, this n value, then another axis n value, the third axis as a n value, we know this combination gives us n plus 2. So when are available, however, when we have bridge this particular gap with n minus 2 points and we also bridge this particular gap with n minus 2 points, then we know that n plus 2 minus 2 times n minus 2 will provide us a value 6. It is like this that we will be having a dimensional synthesis. Let us have a focus here. So if we have a linear dimension, it will provide us value 1, pair of them will provide 3, then value 6, then value 10, value 15, and value 21. It is this phenomenon, it is this feature, and it is this organization format for whole range from us minus n to plus n dimensions, and we are having a synthesis for as much large number of dimensions, may it be negative or may it be positive, then there will be this tabulation. It is this tabulation, it is this dimensional synthesis format, it is these values which deserve to be comprehended well. We have to be face to face with this particular phenomenon. It is this phenomenon with which we are trying to focus today. See, we have seen that when we have a single axis value n, then the pair of axes give us value n plus 2, triple axis give us value 6, then the next value will be 12 minus 2n, next will be 20 minus 5n, and like that going to be. So when we put value 1, it will give us for single linear axis going to be 1, pair of axes provide value 3, and the triple axis will provide us value 6, quadruple will provide us value 10, 5 linear dimensions 15, 21, 28, 36, 45, 55, 66, 78, 91, and 104. Now if we are at spatial dimensions, that means when n is equal to 2 or two spaces playing the role of a dimension, then we know single spatial dimension will give us value 2, pair of dimension will give us value 4, triple will give us 6, quadruple will give 8, 10, and like that will reach at 28. This range of 14 steps from single dimension to 14 dimensions, single linear dimension to 14 linear dimensions, single spatial dimension to 28 spatial dimensions, to 14 spatial dimensions. It is this value which is reached. We know that 6 space is playing different roles. These different roles can be seen in the form of grid 6 clusters. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then like that we will reach at 6, and here we will reach at 11. Now it is this grid with a northeast diagonal give the value 6. So this 6 space, this will be a dimension, boundary, domain, origin, base, and the format. Therefore linear order format with 6 space reach and 6 space as dimension with value 11 as a reach, as a format, or the different roles of 6 space which are to be observed. Now when we are having hypercube 6, which would mean that we are having 6 space in the role of a domain. This 6 space as a domain. Now we know when it goes to the role of a boundary, then it is a raised to power 7 is to 14 b raised to power 6. As such, these 14 b raised to power 6 means 14 6 space bodies. Therefore, if we are having 6 space in the role of a dimension, then the pair of 6 space dimension will give us value 8. The triple 6 space dimensions will give us value 6. And we see here, when we see the difference is going to be 2 always, so it would be 6, 4, 2 and 0. Here the value difference is 5, so it will be 5, 0, minus 5 and minus 10. Here the difference is going to be 9, so it will be 3, minus 6, minus 15, minus 24. Here the difference is 14, so it is 0, minus 14, minus 28 and minus 42. Here difference is value is 20, so it would be minus 4, minus 24, minus 44, minus 64. Here the difference is 27, so it is minus 9, it is minus 36, and it is going to be minus 63, and it is going to be minus 90. Here the difference is 35, so it is minus 15, it is minus 50, minus 85, and it is going to be minus 120. Here the difference is 44, it is minus 22, and is going to be minus 66, and like that we can work out. Now see, these tabulation of the dimensional synthesis values. So here the basic feature will be that the sum of the first 4 in single dimension, pair of dimension, triple dimension, quadruple value comes to be 20. Here for these 4 as well comes to be 20. Here again it comes to be 20. So this is the feature as the sum of the synthesis values of single, double, triple and quadruple dimensions of the same order, it always remains 20. It is this feature, and when we see at 8, we know the difference always comes to be 20 here. Like that, there are the features of this synthesis which deserve to be absorbed. If we will be chasing this format of dimensional synthesis, now this dimensional synthesis tabulation deserves to be chased from minus 6 order to 0 order to 1 to 6 order. These are the 13 phases and stages of the dimensional synthesis. Therefore, there are 13 versions of hypercube 6. Hypercube 6 is a 4-fold manifestation layer, and this has a 12 a raised to power 6 is to 12 b raised to power 5. There are 12 boundary components. These 12 boundary components lead to 13 geometries, 13 versions. So these are of minus 6 to plus 6. These signatures, there are 13 signatures geometries of 6 space. Parallel to it, there are 13 versions of hypercube 6. These minus 6 to plus 6, these 13 signatures range as such when is chased as 6 space in the role of a dimension to minus 6 space as a role of dimension, then we will be having a very big rich spectrum of the synthesis values. So this range of spectrum of dimensional synthesis values which deserves to be chased. It will be a very blissful exercise that we shall sit comfortably and shall chase firstly the synthesis of a linear order dimensions. It will give us value 1, 3, 6 and 10. It makes a some value 20. Then the fifth will be giving us a value 15. So initial summation value of the synthesis value of single, double, triple, quadruple and penta linear dimensions comes to 35. Like that we can reach up till 104. These are the 14 steps. These 14 steps deserves to be chased. As we know, a raised to power 7 is equal to 14 b raised to power 6. Therefore, to have a proper comprehensive view and for one to be face to face with the richness of the spectrum of 6-space VMS&T, then one shall chase this dimensional synthesis phenomenon of up till 14 steps, and these 14 steps are to be chased here up till 24 steps. Why 24? But 6 into 4 is equal to 24. It is a dimensional frame and it is also equal to a Pursha. Now this Pursha format is of value 24. Therefore, if 1 to 24 orders is being chased for all the 14 steps, and for those who want to have a ultimate eternity enlightenment, they shall chase up till 28. It is this phenomenon of a chase of dimensional synthesis of dimensions order from 1 to 28 for their all the 14 steps. Then one will be in a position to have a insight. One will be parallel to the phenomenon of the spectrum of the richness of 6-space VMS&T. As such, we, the students, sadhakas, teachers and scholars of Vedic mathematics, and having fulfilled with intensity of work to be face to face with the richness of the mathematics of 6-space VMS&T, shall sit comfortably and begin our initiation by exposing ourselves, being face to face firstly with a Devanagari alphabet format. Then we shall be face to face with the transcendental code values accepted by the letters of Devanagari alphabet. Then we shall be face to face with the syllables code values accepted by the vowels. Then we shall be face to face with Vedic code values accepted by the consonants. And ultimately we shall also be face to face with the Yama code values accepted by the Yama letters of Devanagari alphabet format. Once we are face to face with these values and features of Devanagari alphabet letters, then we shall be face to face with the Sthapatya miring rod. Once we are face to face with the format features values of the Sthapatya miring rod, then we shall begin with the domain split spectrum. And after the domain split spectrum, we shall have a Jyoti manifestation phenomenon. Once these pair of phenomena, domain split and Jyoti split phenomena, are being faced, one stands initiated with, then we should go with the dimensional synthesis, and then ultimately we'll be reaching at transcendental ranges synthesis, and then as the end reach value we will be chasing Vedic values, Vedic systems, Vedic processing steps, Vedic knowledge, Vedic mathematics, Vedic sciences, Vedic technologies and Vedas upon the soul syllable Om, from Om to Paranava, Paranava to Om, Om to Omkar, Omkar to Udgit, Udgit to Vashatkar. All these phases and stages will be bringing us face to face with the different aspects of 6-space VMS&T. From tomorrow we shall be taking up these 12 aspects one by one, and parallel to it we will be taking up 6 ansh the 6 parts of Vishnu Puran, and then we shall be reaching at the 12 chapters, adhyayas, skandhas of Srimad Bhagavat Mahapurana. With this, ultimately, we will see how everything gets unified in Sakla Rigved Samhita. It is this way that we shall be initiating ourselves, we shall be exposing ourselves, we shall be chasing. And it is this chase we hope will bring us upon the self-referral format of 6-space VMS&T. There is an announcement, and it is that some queries are being raised which cannot be taken up during the lesson. However, as a facility, anybody who has any query can send the same upon the email, upon my email address, and with it every attempt would be made to answer the queries. However, it is made clear that it will not be possible to take up these queries during these lessons, as these lessons are meant only for 30 to 40 minutes, and during this short period queries cannot be taken up. Anyway, queries can be sent and those will be attempted to be met. Thank you very much.